What's up, leets and geeks? It is Friday, so you know what that means. That means that it's time to get right back into our classic tabletop RPG series with the granddaddy of sci-fi tabletop RPGs, Classic Traveler. The starter set specifically is what we have been covering. Folks, we are 35 videos into this series. You believe it? This is a deep dive. I don't be messing around. Know what I mean? I just recently did a video on why I go so deep and why I cover these classic tabletop RPGs. So I'll leave a link for that one down in the description below so you can go ahead and take a look at that. By the time we get done with this series, if my calculations are anywhere near correct, we will be about 38 to 39 videos total for Classic Traveler. That is a lot of videos for just one game. The original idea, when I decided that I was going to do these classic games in this fashion, was to do this deep dive, get really deep and geeky with it, with the mechanics and the whole nine. And then at the end, we're going to cap that off with a gameplay video that kind of brings it all home together. Now, for those of you who don't know, RPG Elite is a tabletop RPG education channel. That is primarily what this channel is about, to teach people about different tabletop RPGs, educate people on the tools of the trade, educate people about what's going on in the space. This is education, RPG Elite style for tabletop RPGs. And recently I came out with a video explaining how I would love to give you guys the whole hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever, however long the gameplay video is going to be. However, things change, folks. In the 2.5 years that I've been doing this as a serious business, things change. And one of the things that have changed is that I no longer do videos longer than 20 minutes on this channel. And since I made that announcement recently, I have kept my word and I'm going to keep my word. So the gameplay video that we have for Classic Traveler, which is called The Inheritance, it's a mini adventure. And again, it's going to bring it all together. So think part entertainment, part education. So you guys can see, yo, I think I want to get in on this as you're watching the video. How are you going to watch the entire, 3-4 hour series for this mini adventure? I will tell you how on the other side, and I also have the question of the vid for you. Today in Classic Traveler, we're going to cover how you find things to do. One of the major ways that you find things to do in Classic Traveler. Let's get started with this and roll 'em. There are many types of encounters PCs can have in their adventures in Classic Traveler. Rumors, adventure, animal, or even player-generated hooks that the referee can play off of impromptu. But the key encounter type in Classic Traveler is patrons. Patron encounters are when an NPC, we'll call them the client, approaches the PCs and offers them work of some kind, or maybe the PCs hear that a patron needs some help, finds them, and then they begin to get together. No matter how they meet, after they get together, an agreed upon fee is negotiated or just presented, and then the job commences. Now, television shows that kind of epitomize this patron dynamic are Leverage, Monk, Psych, and there are others. Patrons can be found just about anywhere where there are people, whether they be human or alien. To find them, you roll 1d6 once per week in game time, and a roll of 5 or higher will reveal a patron, which means that's 33% of the time, 33.333, whatever. Now, to keep the PCs involved, have them roll the 1d6 to find the patron. If the group decides we're going to split up and cover different parts of the town or something like that, go ahead and let them so they can increase their likelihood to find a patron. For the sake of argument, we're going to assume that we found a patron. We're not going to try to roll a 5 or a 6 because that may take forever. After you find a patron, you're going to choose one of the 2 patron tables you're going to use to find out the specific type of patron. So here's one list, 36 different results, and patron 2 has different results, but at the bottom of each are DMs. Let's take a look at patron table number 1's DMs. So here for the first die roll, that's going to make a difference, so hang in there. If a merchant is a part of the group, it's a DM of -1. If a noble is part of the group with a social standing of 11 plus, is a DM is a +1. Then on the second die roll, if other DM -1, I'm not real sure what that means. If other DM -1, I don't even know what that means. It says if army or marine character, DM a +1. Now, I know for certain there are 2 merchants and a marine in the group that we're going to be running for our traveler mini adventure. Drago, and we go over here, let me pull him up real quick. So Drago is a marine. So he's the one that's going to give them this +1 down here on this table. And then Sam and Sky, both of those guys are merchants, but the DM doesn't stack. It's just a +1. So they have a merchant. That's a -1 right there on the first die roll and a +1 on the second die roll. Cause I don't know what this if other DM -1 means. So if you guys know, let me know in the comments. Okay. So let's go to the other table, table number 2, to see what its DMs are. All right, so here on the first die roll, if you have a naval character, the DM is going to be -1. And I don't believe we do, even though I kept thinking that Vicente was naval, but I think he's army. So we don't have any naval characters. And if merchant character, DM a +1. So we already know we've got 2 merchants. So we've got that +1 DM on the first die roll. Then on the second die roll, if streetwise is 1 or higher, then you got a DM of -1. And if admin of 1 or higher, you got a DM of +1. Does anybody have those skills? Yes, Sab has both of them. We look here, here's a streetwise. He's got a 1 there, and he's got a 1 in admin. So since he has a 1 in each, that just cancels each other out. And so we're just gonna roll our second die if we choose this table normally. So I'm taking a look at what we got here. It looks like patron table number 1 is a little bit more interesting because we have a DM on the first die roll and a DM on the second die roll. So we're going to do table number 1. So the next thing we need to do is pull up the patrons encounter matrix. You can see that at the top here is a first die roll. That's the one they were talking about. And a second die roll for the column here on the left-hand side. Now, if you're playing live, it's a good idea to have 2 different colored die and just kind of roll them both at the same time. You want to designate which die is the row die, which would be up here, or the first die roll. And then the second one automatically is going to be the second die roll over here on the column die. But since we are in Foundry, I'm just going to roll them 1 at a time and apply the die modifiers that way. In the first die roll, I am going to get a -1 DM because of there being a merchant in the group. So I'll go ahead and we'll just do this, and we have a -1 automatically. Okay, so let's roll and see what we get for the first die roll. That's going to be a 5. Okay. The second die roll, we are going to get a +1 because Drago is our marine, and so he's going to give us a DM of +1. I'm going to go ahead and give that +1 DM, and we'll roll and see what we have there. Another 5. We got a 55. So We cross-reference this now. So 5 here, go down until you hit 5. And guess what? It's 55. There you go. So with a 55, I'm going to find it on table number 1 over here. And our patron is going to be an army officer. That's very interesting because Vicente is in the army, so that might make for an interesting encounter because they're both from the army. Now, there are a couple ways you can discover the specific type of patron. So the first one is the one that I would prescribe to most out there. What you do, players go to find the patron. Okay, you keep that the same. However, when it comes to the specific type of patron, you probably want to do a couple of those ahead of time and have some on tap. If they find a patron, you're ready to go. All you really need to do is pick one and then go. It's that simple. It doesn't mess with the flow of the session, and neither does it mess with the flow of the story, because y'all know what RPG Elite Quality number 8, y'all, what does it say? It's about the story. Do like 3 of them, and then every time that you use one, then create another when you guys are in session. So you always have like 3 on tap that you can choose from. So that's the first way you can do it. However, there is something to be said about doing this stuff on the fly off the top of the mind. I do not suggest this for new GMs. But if you want to take a run at it, you want to take a stab at it, you've been doing it for a little while and you're like, okay, let's do this. You could have them search, and then you actually discover right there at the table by either having them roll or you can roll. I mean, it's either or there. And then off of the top of the mind, put together a patron scenario after you discover what patron it is. Now, you need to be good at impromptu stuff. If you're not good at impromptu stuff and it's going to stop the flow of the session and the story, and everybody's going to be sitting there while you're trying to roll dice and write down stuff and all the rest of that, then don't do it. Probably the best way to do it is to just come up with something very basic, a basic premise and everything, and then see where it goes. And in that kind of situation, well, nobody knows what's going on. And even you as the referee is going, I want to know what's going on too. So let's get this party started. It's kind of a act and react thing as you are collaboratively telling the story. So that's only for advanced folks, been playing for a while, advanced GMs that can do that kind of thing. So that's the second way you could do it. Totally impromptu. And then there's a third way. And the third way is kind of connected, similar to the first method. You can just go and buy supplement number 6 called Patrons. Yeah, within this, you have all these different scenarios based on the number of players that are in your group that you can choose from when they find a patron. And you can kind of have some of these that you would like to do, you know, in the next time that they would find a patron. Let's say maybe you put a star next to it or something. At the bottom there, as you can see, you have several different options as far as what's really going on. Pick one and then go from there. However, if you do that, it's probably better to choose those scenarios again ahead of time and tweak them to tailor make them for your particular player group. That way, the players are more invested because their characters might be directly connected to this particular situation because you tweaked it to make it so. That's just another way that you can do it. You got options, y'all. You got options. Hey, if you got any value out of this video today, learned anything, was entertained, didn't think your time was wasted, whatever, then go ahead, do a brother solid, and just crush the like button. Also, if you want to stick around, you want to become part of the RPG Elite tribe, then hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I come out with videos, God willing, every Tuesday and Friday. At the beginning of this video, I said that I was going to tell you how you can watch the cap-off video that brings all of these things together for these deep dives into a gameplay video, or gameplay videos. Probably be more than one. More likely, it'll be more than one. Since I am not going to have the full version on the YouTube channel. How much will you get on the YouTube channel? About 15 minutes. About 15 minutes. How much will there be? Hours worth of this stuff. Because it's a session, y'all. And then there's the editing and all the rest of that stuff. So the way that you're going to be able to do this, to join memberships when I have memberships come out later on this year, that is the way that you'll be able to see not only the cap off for Traveler, but all of the other gameplay videos and live streams and everything that is not going to happen here on YouTube anymore. And if you want to find out why that's the case, check out this video right here. I'll leave a link for it down in the description below. And we're going to be working on getting these memberships together. So that's the way you're going to do it, but memberships won't be here, I'm guessing around June or July or something like that. But that is when you will be able to see the cap off for the Traveler series. And as a member, you'll be able to go in and watch it whenever you feel like it. So that's how that works. All right, let's get to the question of the vid. Question of the vid for today is a little different. You're gonna have to think about this one a little bit. So if you've watched any of these videos and have some kind of familiarity with Classic Traveler now, the mood and the tone of the whole lore of Classic Traveler and everything, I want you to think for a second and think of another storytelling medium. So whether it be a novel, whether it be film, television, comic books, and pick one that you feel, with the knowledge that you have, which movie or film or television or which other storytelling medium captures the essence of Classic Traveler. Now, obviously, it's going to be something that's sci-fi, right? But which one of those mediums, which ones do you think this one really captures the essence of Classic Traveler? Like, you could just see this happening in Classic Traveler. Let me know down in the comments below. Let's get some engagement going. That's it for me. I've been talking long enough, so let's do my snaggle push.
So exit, stage left.
Hey, if you got a game this weekend, happy gaming, y'all. I pray it is an RPG Elite session. I got my game going on with The One Ring. Kind of excited about that since everybody kind of conked out sick the last time. Man, we started it, but everybody started getting sick, and so I kind of canceled it in the middle of it. So until next time, folks, God willing, your boy has got to say peace, 5,000 leets. I'm outie. See you on the next one.